But I think we are good to go. Hello and a warm welcome to our webinar series around hyper-automation with SAP Business Technology Platform. And today we have our last session of this webinar series. So in essence, we have had 16 sessions, hands-on workshop, guided demos, and also one wonderful keynote a week ago, so on Monday, where we have introduced you to the topic of hyper-automation and also how you can handle this topic with the help of the SAP Business Technology Platform. Today, in this webinar, in this guided demo, as we have named it, we will give you an overview on how you can really digitize your capital expenditure approvals with the help of SAP Workflow Management. My name is Stephan Schluchter. I'm part of the product management team, and I have the pleasure to be with you within the next 30 minutes. I will show you a demo. I will give you an introduction into the topic itself. And then, of course, I'm also looking forward to any questions you might have. Let's go into the details. When you take a look at business processes, of course, a lot of them are already standardized. So this means they are running within standardized applications, like, for example, SAP S/4HANA or even SAP ERP still. When we take a look at the bigger scenarios like lead to cash, recruit to retire, design to operate, or also source to pay. But I guess we all know this is just part of the truth. So approximately 80% of our business processes within the organization can be covered with these standard applications. But what about the rest? So think about business processes, about related workflows, which are probably some extensions of the standard processes or net new processes you would like to create to differentiate yourselves also compared to your competitors. Of course, there also you need a kind of solution how you can really support these workflows, and we'll see also cover, let's say, the non-standard workflows, the remaining 20%, if you will. So with SAP Workflow Management, we really would like to enable you to go this last mile of automation with the help of digitized workflows. And this could be extensions. Think about different kind of approval levels you probably would like to add to a purchase requisition, or think about a net new process you want to create. This is what I would like to show you today. When we're talking about processes, of course, it's clear processes are complex. And there needs to be some way to, on the one hand side, handle this complexity, because complexity itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but you need to be able to handle it on the one hand side. And on the other hand, probably sometimes it's also better to some degree also hide the complexity before the end user. On the other hand, what we're experiencing and still experiencing, that processes are too manual, or that parts of a process are still manual. And of course, this leads then often to broken processes, to errors, to inefficiencies, and then at the end to higher costs. And this, of course, we need to avoid. How could we do this? I mean, when we're talking about process automation, it's not kind of black and white, if you will. There are different possibilities, but I think there is a really strong combination which we are offering at SAP. On the one hand side, SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, which you could do to automate tasks which are repetitive, where probably people already are acting as a bot. So let also then a bot do the work for them. On the other hand, and this is the focus of today's session, we have SAP Workflow Management, where we are enabling you to create fully automated workflows as extensions, as net new processes, depending on the actual use case. And the best thing, you can really use both solutions, both products within a low-code, no-code environment, which makes your life much more easier. As I said, we will focus now on SAP Workflow Management. When we take a look at the key capabilities, of course, there are different of them. On the one hand side, we have the workflow editor, low-code environment, which you can use to design, to implement workflows based on a standard notation, BPM, and business process model and notation. On the other hand, we have business rules. Whenever you are dealing with processes, with workflows, of course, there is also the need to handle the business rules. And therefore, we are also providing you an environment, but of course, also an engine. And the nice thing with the business rules is here that you can really maintain them independently of the actual workflow implementation. The third item here, process variant. So this is really important and also main focus of our today's session, because here we are providing a no-code environment and really empower the business user to do extension of business processes, to do their own variants on their very own, really give them the mandate to change processes, to create net new processes, of course, within some constraints. And then finally, once you have executed your workflows, you also would like to know how are they going. So how's the performance? And this is what we are also providing here. So you can see with SAP Workflow Management, you will get really a fully enriched cloud service offering, combining different capabilities. And I will show you them right now. In a dedicated example, in this case, it's CapEx, capital expenditure approvals. So when are you dealing with capital expenditures in your organization? Whenever you are doing new investments. This could be acquisitions. This could be if you would like to purchase new assets, if you would like to, for example, construct a new building, if you would like to change anything, or if you would like to start a new project. So whenever you need some kind of investment budget, then of course someone needs to approve this budget. And we have seen in many companies, and there are just two mentioned here, two customers of us who have had some issues with their capital expenditure process because it has been manual. There have been, for example, sent mails back and forth. Approvals have been done via Excel files and so on and so forth. So there was the clear need to digitize these workflows, to automate them, to get a better traction of them, but also to become more efficient. And based on this, we have also created our first set of live process content packages, really enriching here some content with process templates, with business rules, with user interfaces, which you can use really use this as a kind of a kickstart for your automation projects. Having said this, let me show you what this really means and how this looks like. So the packages itself, you will find them in the API Business Hub. I will also share the link with you later on. So in the SAP API Business Hub, if we go there, we can see there are different content types, and there is also content type workflow management. And here within there are several content packages already listed. So quite different ones from different industries, for example, utilities, but also serving different scenarios. For example, if you would like to have an approval process for the business partner creation in SAP S4 or S4HANA Cloud, or if you would like to manage invoices without purchase orders, typical use case within ERP environment. Also there we are providing content packages, but also, and this is the focus of today's sessions, in the finance area, if you would like to implement your very own capital expenditure approval process. If we take a look what is included there, so we can see, of course, there are some documents, so how you could set up these, the process itself, an end user guide, configuration guide, everything is there. But more important for us and for you, of course, are the artifacts which are delivered here. Let's take a look at them. So on the one hand side, we have here the process, and the process in this case means that we will get here certain variants which are pre-built and then also delivered. So this is the default variant. So this means the process got initialized, and then there's one approval step by the local manager, and then the finalization. But of course, based on this, you can make up this really to different kind of approval levels, really dedicated to your needs here. So if we take a look, what else do we have? We can see that there are also decisions available. So certain policies which have been implemented in advance for you. So for example, in which cases there needs to be a kind of manual approvals, or vice versa, in which cases these manual approvals could be skipped. Then probably also a due date determination policy. So for each approval step, you can define here which should be the due date and some further stuff. So really business rules, which really enables you to implement these decisions within your own variant. And then finally, we have a visibility scenario. And this visibility scenario has a lot of advantages, I can tell you. So on the one hand side, it's coming out of the box with a really nice dashboard, but it's also coming with some predefined performance indicators, as you can see them here. I will also show you this later on in the running demo. So here we have our content packages in different areas, in different scenarios. But now let's take a look how this is really then working in the environment of SAP Workflow Management. So I'm now here in a Fiori Launchpad, different areas. There are different tiles available, but there are just a few which we would like to concentrate on today. So first of all, let me create a new request. And in this case, of course, it's as it is a CapEx scenario, we would like to create a new CapEx request. So therefore, let me just maintain some information there, not too much, just for demo purposes. So my email address, by the way, also feel free to contact me if you have any queries, any thing you would like to know around SAP Workflow Management. I am here to help you there. So request ID, I can give there, then a title. In this case, I would like to have new solar panels. And of course, that's not type software. As you can see, there are different types available, predefined types. Of course, we are also providing you capabilities to adapt them based on your needs. And this is right in the area of building, should be in Germany. And yes, this is more or less our contribution to our sustainability goals. So let's say it's around 60,000 euros, operational, and this is probably 61. Of course, can here add some further. Also sustainability KPIs, which you would like to achieve when we are doing this. So let's see what we have given here. And then based on this, we can already start our workflow and request for approval of these capital expenditures. Now let's take a look how the end user would actually get access to this. So there are different ways. Of course, this can be also consumed in different devices. In this case, we are just using here our environment, what we have there. So, and here within the My Inbox application. So we have here now the first approval as a local manager. So the new solar panels I've just created here. And you can see also that there is further information I could add there, but also probably add a comment if I would like to do so. There's some standard buttons also available, approve and reject, for example, also to rework the stuff depending on the actual need. So for this demo purpose, I've assigned all the roles to myself. So of course, in real life, there would be different people involved, but in this case, it's just me. So now I'm not the local manager anymore. I got promoted to the vice president. And of course, then I can also move on with the approval of the steps, depending actually whether I would like to do so or not. I can also take a look at the log. So what has happened so far, so who has started this process itself, who has worked on this, and some further information I could also include there. But now let's take a look how has this actually been built. So what you have seen right now was more or less the end user perspective. But if we take a look now at the process flexibility cockpit, and this is really, I would say, one of the main access points which you have there. I could, for example, click here and discover all the available packages in the Process Hub. So there's a direct connection to the API Business Hub. And there I can, for example, import some packages or also see if there are some updates available for already imported packages. So for this demo, I have already prepared something, as you can see. So a lot of processes I have already imported here. And as we have said, we are focusing on the capital expenditure approval process. So let's take a look what has happened here. Well, we have here 4 areas, 3 for configuration, if you will, and the one here to be consumed. And probably let's start with the one which could be consumed. So this is really the dashboard, which I have told you before. So where we can, on the one hand side, get a complete overview on all the running instances related to this capital expenditure approval workflow. We can also drill down into more details, even drill down into each and every instance, find out what's going on there, if there are any issues, and we could even add here some kind of actions which we would like to perform if there are any issues to get rid of them. So this is based on the one hand side on these predefined KPIs I've shown you before, but on the other hand, of course, you have the freedom, the full flexibility to also adapt them, change them, and just with a single click on a button, you will get these very nice dashboards here. How could you do this? Let's go to the next one here. And now we are in the area where actually the business user could configure something. So within the visibility scenarios, so if we go in there, this is actually the area where you could, on the one hand side, define which kind of workflows you would like to measure here, get a performance, but that's not all. You could even add certain process templates from other processes. You could even observe here or measure the performance of workflows running in SAP Business Workflow. So our workflow engine, which we have within SAP ERP, for example, or SAP S/4HANA, or you could even add a Quadrics service. So really getting also insights, what's going on, what is the feedback currently on the ones who are involved in this process. Then there are different states you could define, different attributes. So all the information which is coming from the system you could include there. And then, of course, define here your performance indicators, change the representation of them, what kind of level you are interested. So really a lot of stuff which you could really change here and adapt based on your needs. Now let's go back to our capital expenditure approval process. So this has been the visibility scenario, but as I said before, we are also delivering some decisions here. So for example, we could make use here of a business rule who would actually determine who should be the approvers. And as I said before, there's also one rule defined in which cases a manual intervention is necessary. So when someone really need then to click the button to set it to approve, so this means equal or more than 10,000 euros, then someone actually would need to do a manual approval there. If we go back now, so we can see here, there are also now the process variants, and this is the most interesting part I can tell you. So let us go now into some of them which are currently active. So we are already providing you some process variants, but besides this, you have then, meaning you, the business user, has the freedom to actually define these variants on their own and really cater then the process flow, the flow of the actual work, the workflow based on your needs. So what you can see here, this is the initialization step. Then we have an approval by a local manager, we have an approval by a CFO, and that's it. Of course, if you would like to add further levels of approval, you can easily do this and just drag and drop the stuff here, and then you have included another level of approval. You can determine who this should be, approval, for example, by an SVP or something like this. And then, of course, you can also define who this should be. So this is quite easy, and just with a few clicks based on this pre-built content, you can actually define here your own variants. So if we go back, no, I don't want to save this now. So this is the environment, the process flexibility cockpit, which can then be used by a business user to really, with just a few clicks, define their own variants. Of course, such a process step can be based on a dedicated workflow. So this means underneath probably there are certain activities which are executed, certain, for example, systems are included there, or probably business rules are called, whatever, whatnot, everything what you could imagine more or less you can define here. But then I think what you can really have here is really this nice combination on the one hand side to handle the complexity, but also to hide the complexity and really provide here a nice environment for business users, no code environment where they can actually work on their variants on their own. So what you have seen now today in this guided demo is on the one hand side how these live process content packages can be consumed. So as you know, they are available in the SAP API Business Hub. By the way, we of course also have a representation, active community within the SAP community. So just take a look here at Workflow Management, there you will find us. Of course, there's now this advertisement to our webinar series, which you are part of. Thanks for this. But also here are some very interesting blogs also from our senior management. So from our CTO, Jürgen Müller, by the way, talking about the importance of low-code, no-code development and citizen automation, and also what we are tackling next. Also here, our Senior Vice President, Bhagat Nainani, and of course, some further information about live process content packages, about new releases. And then also we have here a section how you could get actually started with tutorials, with hands-on, with missions. And the best here, you can do this in your own environment, in your own trial system. And there probably you would like to start with this little tutorial, discover and configure live process content with workflow management, because here actually you would you would experience how you can make use of everything what I have showed you today. And the best thing is you just need to invest approximately 45 minutes and you have created your own variant, executed it, changed the business rule, and then also observe the performance, measure their performance with the help of the process visibility scenario at the end. So as we are quite close now to the end of this 13 minutes, let's take a look now whether there are any questions from your side. So there is one question regarding pricing. So what is the license here? So what I can tell you right now, so there is the metric is here, the user. So this means every user who is included in the workflow will be priced. But for further information, I would like to ask you to get in contact with your account representative from SAP. Are there any further questions? So please feel free to either ask them via the Q&A session or in the chat, or you could also unmute yourself if you want to. Feel free. Or probably let me just also share the link here to the community. Please feel free to follow us here, to sign up for the tag. There you will get further information. Let me also share you directly the link to the tutorial, really easygoing tutorial, I would say. And then finally, as the last one here, let me also share with you the link to our content packages. And the good thing is you can have a look at these content packages, whether they fit to your need, whether they are supporting your scenario. And of course, we are heavily investing also in these content packages. We have started just last year with them. And now, as you can see, more and more of them are there. And also from partner companies like, for example, IBM, which are also promoting their content packages they have developed with the help of SAP Workflow Management. So let's take a look. There's another very nice question. So are there any demo tutorials to connect both IRPA and Workflow Management? So very good point. So we have there some blogs who are talking about this. We are about to release also some some courses where we are showing actually combination, because it's a quite nice combination, a powerful combination, as I said in the beginning. So for example, think about just in this capital expenditure example, you have different user interfaces where this information will be included, what is needed for the capital expenditure approval process, or probably this information is coming via Excel sheets and you would like to include this information in such a workflow. So this can easily be done and very nicely done with the help of intelligent robotic process automation. There are a few blogs out there. We have also had TechEd sessions on this. And of course, we will also share in the near future some further information on this and also some hands-on on this. Sure. Thanks for the question. Are there any further questions? I'm still there for you. Anything you would like to ask, you would like to get more details, please let me know. Okay, we are coming now to the end of this guided demo session as part of our webinar series, Drive Hyperautomation with SAP Business Technology Platform. Thanks so much for being with us today and also during the course of the last 2 weeks where we have executed this webinar series. I can tell you we are already preparing the next webinar series on this topic, but first and foremost, I also would like to invite you to SAPPHIRE, which the registrations are also now open. Very nice online event, of course, this year. Again, it will start at June the 2nd, and be sure that there will also be a lot of announcements around the topic of hyperautomation, about low-code, no-code process automation with the help of SAP Workflow Management. Thanks for joining our session and take care, and hope we will stay in touch. And the best way is really to follow us here in the SAP community about workflow management. Thank you. Goodbye.